I'm Luke Cage. You wanna test me? You know where to find me. Ooh, got it all, man!
Netflix released their first trailer for Season 2 of Luke Cage, and man, this thing looks awesome. Harlem has fully embraced Luke as their community's hero, and this time around there's a new villain that is fully capable of kicking Luke's ass with his bare hands. We cannot wait. So let's bring in some buddies and take a closer look.
Really, guys?
You gotta know we tried, man.
I ain't no joke.
Okay, right off the bat, we get an epic shot of Luke surviving what looks to be a rigged truck explosion. And it doesn't even faze him. You can also clearly see that there's a man triggering the explosion. So it looks like maybe this was a trap that really didn't work out for him. Or maybe it's a setup and the whole thing's planned as promotional material for Luke's Heroes for Hire group, Luke Cage's superhero business from the comics.
Dude, that is a badass shot.
Who doesn't like a man on fire?
This looks like one of the first steps to forming Heroes for Hire as a business entity. It seems that Luke is shooting a promo video of sorts for his group, and he is clearly not afraid to have his identity shown in the public anymore. Also, if you look at who's holding the camera, it appears to be that same kid from Season 1 who would show up at different crime scenes with his camera to document it. And if you look at that kid's shirt, we've got the classic Luke Cage logo from the comic books. Very nice touch.
He looks like Jesus Christ. Like he actually looks like the Son of Christ with the flaming heart. Okay.
Yet more evidence that Luke Cage is widely known to the public now as a hero. And the imagery used in this mural is not subtle. We're getting some very heavy biblical vibes from this. And just to drive the point home, the next shot that we get is of Luke taking selfies with some kids, truly living up to his heroic reputation, and generally just being kind of a likable guy. And it looks like the right people are scared of Luke now, as we see some younger men possibly up to something shady scatter as they see Luke. It's so cool to see his reputation as a protector of Harlem in full effect here.
I love the hoodie. That's like old school, like 90s hip hop.
This African American College Alliance hoodie that Luke is wearing is a fun throwback to a brand, which is not strictly a collegiate organization, but is rather a brand that was popular in the 90s with hip hop artists. And in fact, if you want to dress like Cage himself, you can actually go out and buy their clothing right now. We are for sure expecting a huge spike in sales in the next few months.
But one man cannot save a community.
You can't keep doing what you're doing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And right here we get Luke doing what heroes do best, dropping off criminals at a police station after he has knocked them unconscious. This is a very common superhero trope that we're more than happy to see Luke taking part in. Once again, Luke is in full hero mode now. And right here is our very first shot of Misty Knight. She's back, and back on the force, even after losing her arm after the events of the Defenders.
Harlem is mine.
You got taken out.
Oh! Who is this?
Damn, Luke just got owned by this season's big bad, Bushmaster. Now in the comics there are actually two versions of Bushmaster, and they look wildly different from what we're seeing here, which is honestly kind of a good thing. We don't think that a man running around in Harlem in a metallic snake suit body thing would quite work in this more grounded version of New York. In the comics, depending on what version of Bushmaster you're reading, either John MacGyver or his brother Quincy, he gains his robotic snake body after a boating accident, and the Roxxon Corporation steps in to offer him a new body. He then uses this robotic snake-like body to get in all kinds of trouble, and even uses it to found the evil Serpent Society. That being said, we're not thinking much of that is actually going to show up in this season of the show. And right here is some more evidence that Luke Cage is fully known as a hero. He's getting full-on TV news coverage now. And looks like news is spreading pretty fast that he got a bad beatdown at the hands of Bushmaster. Speaking of that, here's Luke spitting up blood, further proving that Bushmaster is more than capable of taking Luke down. While he has bulletproof skin, Luke's internal organs are just as susceptible to damage as most people. We saw this happen way back in the first season of Jessica Jones when he took a shotgun to the chin.
He hurts you. You're not invulnerable, Luke.
The connective tissue of the Marvel Netflix universe is back in the form of Claire Temple. And it looks like her and Luke are still going hot and heavy. Right here we get some more shots of Luke and Pops, and Luke's buddy, Bobby Fish, is back as well. It's so nice to see that the whole gang is stuck around after the crazy events of the first season.
I gotta find him.
Here it seems that at some point in the season, Luke has had time to lick his wounds and is on the hunt for Bushmaster, choosing to take this new villain head on. We cannot wait to see what those superpowered fights are going to look like. What's interesting here is it looks like Bushmaster has some sort of powers he draws from the occult possibly, maybe it's even drug-induced. In the comics, Bushmaster was born in the Caribbean, so it is possible that he could practice Santeria or some other type of spiritualism that he could draw power from.
Okay, we got some voodoo going on. I'm into that. This is like where my family is from. Oh, and he's like Luke Cage!
Here we get proof that Bushmaster is not only strong, but it seems like he's bulletproof as well. What's interesting here is it looks like he's actually bleeding a little bit where the bullets hit his skin. So, like in the comics, did Bushmaster go through the same super soldier process that Luke did? Or is his skin not quite as tough as Luke's, but he has some sort of energy absorption powers like he does in the comics. So whatever breaks his skin, he also gets some sort of energy from the projectile on top of that, compensating for his lack of toughness.
I've seen you raw, but never brutal.
Sometimes brutality gets shit done.
Right here we get a line of dialogue, what sounds like Claire saying to Luke that he's acting more brutal this time around. Maybe because Bushmaster is such a real threat this season that Luke really doesn't have any other choice but to go full on. Alright, this fun shot right here, this is a direct reference to the first season of Luke Cage, but this time around it's Mariah Dillard, the cousin of Cottonmouth, in control, and it looks like she is in full crime lord mode now.
Oh, that's a nice little mirroring of that shot from season 1.
Hey look, Shades is back, and he's wearing sunglasses. Cool?
Shades.
We hope he has a more pivotal role to play this season.
Oh, yes, okay. Misty Knight getting her robot arm. I'm here for this.
Alright, now here's where things get really comic booky, but in a really great way. We see Misty looking at rough plans of her famous robotic arm. More to come on that in a little bit. Mariah is getting her hands even dirtier this season, as we see her holding a gun that looks very similar to the one that Diamondback used to almost kill Luke in the first season. Yeah, I think she's full on nuts now.
Just so we're clear, I'm not in the market for a sidekick.
Who says you're not my sidekick?
Yes.
Yes, there she is.
We end the trailer with a great scene between Misty and Luke, but this time Misty is rocking that sweet robotic arm of hers. And she's kicking ass to boot. Will she be joining Luke's Heroes for Hire team? Or will she finally partner up with Colleen Wynn, Iron Fist's partner and love interest, to form the Daughters of the Dragon? There are a lot of possibilities here. And one notably absent character from this trailer was Iron Fist himself. We're assuming he's going to play at least some role in this season, but after the way Iron Fist was received in his own show, it's kind of smart to keep him out of this trailer, at least for now.
Now it's just Luke Cage doing what Luke Cage does, cleaning up the streets of Harlem.
Awesome. That looks great. That looks way more exciting than the first one. The first one was cool, but this one looks way more exciting.
This new villain, I'm kind of nervous now. It actually feels like there's gonna be some challenge here. We're gonna have some actual fighting happening on a level where Luke Cage might actually not survive. This is exciting.
Alright, so that's it. What did you think of the first Luke Cage Season 2 trailer? And is there anything else in the trailer that stuck out to you? Sound off in the comments below, subscribe, and remember to follow us on Twitter @GetFandom.